Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Kingdon Radio Art Podcast. My name is Angel, better known as Tumblr user TV Gremlin, and today we're back, baby. I talked about this a bit on the Tumblr, but I know not everyone follows me there or just doesn't see posts because of the way the Tumblr algorithm works. So I'll give you a little update as to where I've been. For starters, my cat died, which sucked. R.I.P. Peanut. He's the best. It was really sad. I don't really know how to talk about it without making jokes, and I feel like making jokes about my dead cat is a great way to make people uncomfortable, so I'm not gonna do that. But my cat died and it was terrible. And then about a week later, I either partially or fully dislocated, my guess is somewhere in between, my shoulder and my sleeve. I have a hypermobile spectrum disorder, which is very similar to hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, just a little bit chiller, luckily. And in the process of putting it back and stuff, I pinched a nerve, and I was in a lot of pain for a week and really, really out of it. And then now I re-injured it a few days ago, and I've been kind of suffering. And I have a bunch of other random medical health stuff that's gone awry. And you can tell from my voice, I'm just not doing too great. But I love Kingdon. I want to talk about them. So I'm here talking about these doctors who are so fucking weird about each other. I also want to give a big thank you to everyone who's continued to support me despite my absence. Big thank you to my wonderful Patreon supporters and everyone who follows me on Tumblr and gave a big thanks after the Avacadomoon episode came out. That was really incredible. You guys are amazing and are the whole reason I keep doing this, because as much as I love Kingdon, I love you guys more. So today I want to do the episode I have been so excited about for a hot minute, and feel like this is my last chance to do it because I want to do this. I'm really afraid of getting really popular and then wanting to do one of these episodes and getting canceled for it. So while I'm still kind of a nobody, let's just do it. This week we're doing, I feel like I get on the mic and I immediately start coughing. This week we're doing Fanfic Rex, the long-awaited. This is the most highly requested episode. I'm not kidding. This is the episode people ask for the most. Fanfic Rex, let's fucking go. So for Fanfic Rex, I have it set up in a very specific way. So I have the name of the fic, the summary that I wrote, because a lot of the time the summaries are just a quote from the fic, and I wrote a summary that I feel is a better elevator pitch, and then my little blurb about it, a song pairing, and a quote to convince you to read it. So I have a lot of recs. I originally did this in categories, but then I realized that the fics I can really go on and on about, it's actually a shorter list than if someone was I wanted to read a fic with this. I would just go through my hundreds of bookmarks at this point and be read this, read this, read this. But the fics I feel I can really wax poetic about and really change my life. Some of these, most of these fics change my life. They're my comfort fics. They're what I go back to when I'm sad or in pain or just want to read something. These are I have no idea what to read. I guess I'll just read this again. But I do have 3 at the bottom, my Melprig fics. I picked 3 Melprig fics that I feel fit into different categories that I didn't do the whole song pairing and stuff for, but are really great regardless. And I have a couple fics that are kind of smutty, couple that are Abby heavy, couple that aren't, and several fics that you've definitely heard me talk about before, but just wanted to really go in depth about. And also before I do this list, I do also want to say that my 2 favorite authors and my 2 best friends are forever Purplebutterflyglasses and Alysonafterdark. You cannot go wrong. Picking a favorite fic by them was choosing a favorite child, so I didn't. It was too much of a Sophie's choice. I couldn't do it. But I highly recommend reading their fics. They're all incredible. They will never do you dirty. They're perfect. So keep that in mind. But then the first fic I want to talk about is Divine Pity in a Boat by Orphan Account. This fic was orphaned. I read it before it was orphaned, but I don't remember the person's username, and I'm sure I could find out, but I don't feel like asking because I feel that's a violation of their privacy. If a fic's been orphaned, but you know who the original person was, or if a fic's anonymous, but you know who wrote it, don't out the person. That's against what they they clearly didn't want that. Don't do that. But this is Divine Pity in a Boat. I've been very open in saying Divine Pity in a Boat is the fic that made me a shipper. I think about it constantly, this is my Kingdon fanfic Bible. It's this and then another fic later on the list that are like my fanfic Bibles. What keeps me coming back again and again to Divine Pity about and keeps me rereading it and keeps me recommending it is just how simple the story is. It's really slice of life and sweet. I feel like it also captures the time it was written in really well. Pre-season 2 and like early fandom, it was a lot, dare I say fluffier, sweeter? There's just like a very specific vibe that I feel like Avacadomoon and this fic and a couple of other big ones early on capture before we get into like the rivers and roads and like more like angsty satire use. There was just kind of like they're at IKEA, carpooling, like that vibe. There's just a lot of joy. And I think it was also because we weren't taking ourselves very seriously at the time. And I feel like Divine Pity does that really well. It's funny, it's sweet. But it also, it's like, it's deep, but it doesn't make you sad. Like, you don't cry. There are some lines where you're just like, holy shit, and it like hits you, but you're not gonna like weep. It feels like a romance novel in the best way. Like, I feel like I could read this in a cafe and fall back in love with the idea of being in love. And then the quote is, "It's weird at work. Mel sometimes gets this cognitive dissonance because Langdon's still Langdon, hyperactive and brilliant and sort of an ass, the one person she seeks out automatically whenever she needs a second opinion on something, whenever she needs someone to stand in the room with her and make her feel more confident in her diagnoses, in a procedure that she's about to do. But he's also the guy who drews on her pillow and twitches when she sticks her cold feet against the back of his legs, who's teaching Becca how to use the waffle maker slowly, because he doesn't really know how either, whose hands she knows almost better than her own, who has wiped his tears on her shoulder and told her laughing, 'Fuck, sorry, it's like whenever I'm around you I can't help it.' And Mel still wonders, can't help what? Crying, spilling his guts, but she doesn't think it matters, because whatever he means, she can't help it either." And I'm realizing I forgot to read the summary, which is, Mel, post season 1, only to discover that they sleep best when sharing a bed, chaos ensues. And my song pairing is Guilty as Sin by Taylor Swift, because what if he's written mine on my upper thigh, only in my mind? Okay, my second fic is a fic I talk about all the time, and I'm just completely obsessed with. It is my second fanfic Bible. This and Divine Pity go together like peanut butter and jelly. I'm obsessed with them. This is Dilute Me Pretty Baby by Do Not Confess. Joe, I don't know if you're listening, but sometimes you listen. I love you. I'm obsessed with you. You know this, but I'm obsessed with Joe. And the summary is, it's a very realistic getting together fic set after season 2. This is to me canon. Like, this is the fic that is canon in my head as to how they get together. If I'm reading a fic where they're already together, I just imagine it's a sequel to this fic. Like, this is the fic for me. I'm completely obsessed with it. I think I've read it like 3 or 4 times all the way through, and I'll read like chapters of it because I'm like, oh, I really want to read that scene. Or there's like a lot of really good smut, so if I'm like in the mood to read smut after a bad day at work and I just want to turn my brain off, I'll like be like, oh, I know I can read like chapter 6 or chapter 5. I love this getting together scene, like when she says, there's a line in this fic that I won't spoil, but I wish I wrote it every day. I'm obsessed with it. Oh, it's the line I chose, but I wish I wrote this line. I'm jealous that I didn't write it. I'm obsessed with it. It's soft. This fic is soft. It's tender and honest in a way that never fails to get me. Jo knows exactly who these characters are, and like she weaves such a rich tapestry that I can't help but come back to it again and again and again and again. This fic has a lot of reads, and I'm like a fourth of them. This is one of the few fics where they feel so much like real people that I fear for their relationship as a conflict. So feels so real and honest. Like, this is one of the only fics I've read where I'm like, are they gonna break up? Would that be the best thing for them? Can they survive this? This fic really captures one of my favorite things about Kingdon that I talk about a lot with guests and just by myself, which is I love that the conflict is baked into the loaf. I love that they're complicated and messy and nothing is perfect on the surface, and then you can add external conflict to that and make it even more exciting. I just think it's incredible. And the quote I have is like one of my all-time favorite scenes, which is, "I don't want to hurt you, Mel. His voice sounds all cut up. I couldn't bear it if I hurt you." She blinks away the stupid tears prickling in her eyes. She doesn't want to cry in front of him. All she wants is for him to take her into his arms, kiss her again, say the thing that she now thinks was on the tip of her tongue the last time, the way it hummed and the way he called her sweetheart. "Maybe you could love me a little. Maybe we could try." When she says, "Maybe you could love me a little," I was bawling. I love this fic so much. And the song pairing is Lost Time by Lucy Dacus, which, if you know Lost Time, that is the first song on my Kingdon playlist and is the Kingdon song for me, full stop. Everything about it is perfect. The way it captures like the forbiddenness, there's a lot about addiction. It's just perfect. It's the perfect song for them. My third fic, and the first infidelity fic on here, and like kind of, at least for me, the infidelity fic is Oh, I'm on Fire by Xanisis. Summary, Mel and Frank don't have an affair until they do. this is the infidelity fic for me. Xanisis like writes in these really short bursts, and it paints such a rich picture of Mel and her complex feelings around Frank in a way where I believe the opening line is like, it's about her being like, oh, we're gonna have an affair. She realizes they're gonna have an affair. Like, she realizes that it's these great lines, these short little vignettes that kind of paint a picture of who I really, at least in my characterization and love of this character, know her to be. This is my Mel. A lot of these fics really inform my characterization of them and inform how I talk about them because I just resonate with them so deeply. Yeah, she understands my favorite thing about Mel, her desire to be good and being good, which is how that's in conversation with her desire for Frank. This fic shows that internal like push and pull so well. I'm completely obsessed with it. I think it's perfect. I love how it's written. I love how almost at times pathetic it is. There's something about it that just pulls you in. Trust me when I say that you'll start reading it and you'll be like, oh shit, this is the fic. It's incredible. I also feel like it's really devastating because it's so blunt and it's like the little vignettes are so short. There's something so incredibly devastating about it where you're like, fuck, yeah, that is how she would feel. That is how awful that would feel. That is almost her like wanting to push it away. And you also, because of the way it's written and because of a scene that happens midway through, you almost get to go on Mel's journey of delusion with her. You get to walk with her in her issues with Frank. It's perfect. It's a perfect fic. I'm obsessed with it. And the quote I have is, he gets in the car then, rolling down the window. Let me know what happens with the spinster. What was her name? Tilly? Tilda, she corrects. Let me know what happens to Tilda. I kind of liked her. Okay, she says, and then she watches as he drives off. There's nothing illicit about it, she thinks, except the lying to his wife part, which really has nothing to do with her. If he's being illicit in other areas of his life, it's hardly her concern. Still, there's a sticky feeling in the pit of her stomach. It sits right there beside the joy. And the song for this is Buckle by Florence and the Machine. I also love the Abby in that fic. I think the Abby is great. And I love Frank being kind of a dick, which he is in... He isn't in Depolutte Me Pretty Baby, he isn't, and in To Find Pity in a Boat, he's almost more of like a striking romantic hero than anything. I feel like Depolutte Me really does a good job at... Like, there's one scene in particular where he's like a very explicit romantic hero, but he also has his own issues and he's Frank. Depolutte Me Pretty Baby feels like the most honest of all these fics, and I'm on Fire, Frank is lying to his wife, which you get, which is kind of wonderful. Next fic is Wish There Was Worse For You by witchbitchadam. Witchbitchadam, shout out, I love you. We've had some great conversations. They're amazing. This fic is a series, and this is the Abby POV, which is the one that stuck with me the most, although I reread the Mel POV more often, which I love. And that will be, if I ever do a part 2 of Fic Regs, will have its own section. It feels rude to be like, both of the fics, but I think that they serve their own purposes, and I love the Mel fic, but the Abby fic was the one that like made me fall in love with this series and hit me in a way that I think about it all the time. As you know, I love Abby Langdon. I'm an Abby Langdon girl. You can buy merch on our on the Redbubble shop that says, I want to drink a margarita with Abby Langdon, because it's that fucking serious. I love Abby so much. Oh, and the summary is, Abby Langdon babysits Mel and Frank's baby and reflects on her dead marriage. Yeah, this part is all Abby's POV after messy divorce and unexpected pregnancy lives rent-free in my head. This fic humanizes her in like a really specific way, adds depth to her character, and it makes you both feel bad for her and feel like she's the victim in the situation while also rooting for Mel and Frank. And witchbitchadam walks this line so well. I have absolutely no idea how they did it, but they did it perfectly. It's juicy and real and endlessly entertaining. There is a moment that is not the bit I have, but where she goes and she lets that shit go, and you get introduced to baby Ginny, who's so cute, and you love her. And I also really love witchbitchadam makes this really explicit choice that I'm obsessed with, where Abby doesn't know Mel's lore, and you realize while reading this fic how much of a villain Mel is when you don't know all of the reasons why she deserves to have this messy relationship with Frank. I also love how Frank keeping Abby in the dark about aspects of Mel kind of adds to it. I love how kind of morally gray he is. There's just something so incredible about him here that I like can't get enough of. He's really Tony Stark in this fic, and I love that. He's second and he's gritty and he's Frank. I love him. And I think that when it's in conversation with the second fic, there's a great moment in the second fic, which if you read this fic, you have to read the second one. It's incredible, where Mel's had a C-section and he's changing her dressing, and they're talking about Abby because Abby makes a suggestion that ultimately like serves Mel really well, and Frank says to her, I'm just happy she's starting to see you. about Abby, and I love it. I don't know, I think that witchbitchadam manages to write a Mel who is completely intertwined and enmeshed with Frank in the way that I think that Mel desires to be, to almost give herself over, but also giving her so much agency in a way that I'm deadly obsessed with. It's perfect. The way she walks this line, and then the way that you get to see that from Abby's POV is perfect. It's incredible. And the Abby fic too is just so, I don't know, it almost feels like you're letting her air her grievances in like a way where it's like she gives Abby the space and the ability to like express, I don't know which has pronouns, by the way, sorry if I'm misgendering you. They give Abby the space to be messy and be shitty and have all these complex emotions. And then when you pair that with the sequel, they're in this really beautiful conversation together. But I chose to kind of highlight this fic. I also just think that this Abby drinks, this Abby curses, this Abby loves her children, and this Abby is mourning her marriage. I think that a lot of the Abby characterization we get doesn't include just how much she did love Frank, and also how bitter she is that Mel gets a better version of Frank than she did. When Frank reveals the pregnancy to her in this fic, there's a great scene where Abby's like, I wonder if he made the mistake twice, where she's talking about when she found out she was pregnant with Tanner, how he vomited in the sink and like ran away. She's like, I wonder if he was better this time. And it's stuff like that where you're like, oh, her sacrifice like feels so real. It's like you can feel it like on your skin. You're like, oh, and I love it because I love a fic where I feel kind of gross as a reader, where I'm like, oof, which I don't know what that says about me, but I like a fic where I'm like, I feel morally strange about the fact that I ship these people who ruined her life. So the quote that I pick to illustrate this is, they sat like this for a while, silent, listening to the kids giggling through an open upstairs window. There was a dull ache in Abby's chest, the one that hadn't fully died since she and Frank had looked at each other one morning and finally decided it was time to let go. Since he told her he was seeing someone not long after, the quiet, quirky coworker that Abby, rather naively, chose not to worry about. But the pain might have started much earlier, during the days and nights she spent alone in a home that never held her back when she asked it to. All the fights she and Frank had over trying for a third baby, the one he adamantly said he didn't want. Now the ache throbbed at the heartbreak Abby didn't think she had the right to feel, but felt nonetheless. And the song pairing is Tennis by Lily Allen. The next fic is like my Becca fic for the list. This is a fic I come back to all the time, and especially pre-season 2, before we really got to know Becca's kind of bitter side, which I do love, and I love that in fics. The Strangerverse fics, which I'm sure you've all read at this point, are have some like really good like Becca kind of being the fucking worst undertones that I love. This is a fic called Three's a Crowd by Fathomless. The summary is Becca's POV on Kingdon, set post season 1. This is the Becca fic for me. Fathomless manages to capture Becca as it's not only sweet, funny, and charming, but it's like actually great autistic representation. It's such a good example. It's also like it pairs really well with season 2. Like you read it and you're like, oh, did this person have access to season 2 before we did? It's incredible. I love it. I also feel like this Becca it's cool to have this Becca wants happiness for Mel, and this Becca's rooting for it. And I also really love how like you get to like see her realize just how down bad Mel is. And there's this one of my favorite scenes in this fic. I feel like I can't say very much without spoiling it, but one of my favorite scenes in the fic is when she asks Mel if she loves Frank, and the way that Fathomless writes Mel's response gets me chills every time. And it's also really funny. This is a really funny fic. This is a fic that's going to make you're going to crave more of it. It's not sad. There's no like fighting or desperation. You're just like getting to watch Becca realize that her sister has someone to take care of her now, and how beautiful that is. And it's funny and enjoyable and feels like a warm hug. I love this fic. The song pairing is Sidelines by Phoebe Bridgers, and the quote is, finishing the last bite, the gravity of the next question doesn't go unnoticed. Do you love him? So much, she says, merely a whisper, and Becca sets the carton aside to wrap her hand around Mel's, where it rests against the cushion between them. I hope you're okay with all of this, you know. I'm always being around. If you're not, I'm okay with it, Mel. He's nice. Though she's told Mel that some semblance of this before, she knows how much more important it is now that she and Frank aren't just friends. There's a permanence to the situation that neither of them are willing to acknowledge quite yet. He's good to us. Okay, the next fic is like my first smutty fic, which is Damn the Torpeedos, Full Steam Ahead by Avacadomoon. If you guys listened to the last episode, you understand that I brought this fic up a lot with Avacadomoon. This is not my all-time favorite Avacadomoon fic. That would have to be Baby I'm Your Number One Fan, but that's just because I am a Mel Preg girl. I am Mel Preg first, I am Mel Preg always. I could read it forever and be happy as a clam. It's my favorite fics. But this fic, the summary is Mel and Frank have dinner and make some regrettable decisions. So I spoke about this fic with Avacadomoon. Obviously, I'm reading, like, I have like my little notes, and I'm like, I just said that. But for some reason, this fic is just, like, it just sticks in my brain. I love how honest it is. I love a Kingdon fic where the conflict is simply, it's like, I love how complicated they are in this fic. I love that they're bad people. I love that they're making bad choices. I love how long it is. I love how much legwork is done. I love how I talked to Meg about this when she came on the pod, but I said, like, Meg is Avacadomoon, for those of you who don't know. But I've said this before, and I'll say it again about them, which is, like, I really love when she writes a fic. This fic goes, it's like half them talking, and then it smacks you over the head with some smut, and it's so good. Because when you go back and reread it, you're like, oh shit, the chemistry is there, and the conversation is really, really good. But then you get there and you're like, oh shit. And then the sex is really good and it feels really honest and awkward. I'm just obsessed with it. I love how, I love how long it is. It feels like you feel like you get romance with it. Similar to, oh, I'm on fire, you kind of go along with their delusion. By the time that they're making these bad choices, you're so on board with them that you feel like them. It's this really, like, dare I say, like, shocking and stunning way of writing that only Avacadomoon can do. The quote I chose is kind of short, which is, they laid there for a while, just touching each other quietly, not talking. The moon was still out. It made everything feel freshly romantic and terrifyingly impermanent. And the song is The Tortured Poets Department by Taylor Swift, because who's gonna love you if not me? And then my last fic I go in depth about. I know this is a shorter episode. Again, I've been having a lot of health problems. I kind of only have the stamina for this, but I did want to, like, you know, show my love for these fics, and I've had these notes done for a hot minute, so, you know. This next fic is just purely smut. This is called This Is Enough by nojbosdnjaos. I can't pronounce it correctly. I'll put in the show notes all the fics, guys, don't worry. And this person has the greatest Kingtober series ever, and it's my favorite smut on AO3. It's incredible, along with Look at My Doctors, Man, I'm Gonna Die, which is just smutty fan art. If you scroll by, like, explicit and then put in that filter, then put in porn without plot, you'll get that, which is, like, she updates that artist updates during when the show's airing, and it's the fucking best. But this fic this is just my hands down my favorite smut writer. I highly recommend the Kingtober series again. This fic is a fave of mine because it's not only hot and sexy but also incredibly tender. I love how simple and domestic it is. It's an established relationship fic. It's about Frank comes back from an NA meeting and he eats her out. That's the fic. And Mel's in her period. And it's hot and sweet, and you're like, I love it. I love it so much. It feels like a deleted scene from Dilute Me Pretty Baby. So if you read Dilute Me Pretty Baby and you're like, I want more smut like that, I highly recommend this author. I feel like they get it so right. They have a really good fic called Tent, which is, it's very good. It's a very good fic. I love it. I love it a lot. I love how bratty Mel is in that fic. But, I don't know, I love this one. I love how desperate Frank is. I love how sweet Mel is. It feels very canon. It feels soft. It feels like you're being, like, lovingly invited into a couple's bedroom as opposed to, like, watching through a window, like some smut might feel. Anyway, the quote I chose is, "You look tired," she says as he pushes her legs open to kiss the inside of her knee next, and then up her thigh. "You look beautiful," he hums, sneaking a glance up. "You look beautiful too." And tired, she replies. And the song I picked for this is Garden Say It Like That by SZA. Need you for the old me, need you for my fantasy. And then my 3 pregnancy fics. I wanted to do the 3 brands of pregnancy fic that exist, like the 3 Melpreg genres, because there's genres within genres. You're not reading enough Melpreg if you don't know this. So we have Be My Baby by eggplantemily, All My Marbles in the Fight by adversarya, and Big Trouble by Macaulaytwins. So Be My Baby by eggplantemily is, 1, quite smutty, but 2, soft and fluffy and kind, and kind of like eggplantemily, especially for microfics, for Kingdon microfics, like, wrote a couple really cute fics about, like, the baby that's born in this fic, and it's very sweet. This fic is, like, kind of about, like, the love of, like, them, like, falling in love again and parenthood, and just, like, really tender and sweet. Again, it feels kind of like Dilute Me Pretty Baby or Divine Pain a Boat, where it's, like, there's no moral grayness to Frank. There's nothing icky about it. It's just two people who are madly in love who got through the hard stuff together and now get to enjoy this. And it's just really beautiful and really sweet. But it's also not just pure fluff. There's a little bit of angst coloring the background. There's some texture to it that makes it feel even more earned. I think that when you read these, you'll kind of like get the vibe of I love fluff and I love things that are funny and sweet, but I also really need there to be texture and for things to be funny as well. Not funny, but hard. Like, it has to be earned. If it's not earned, I'm not going to enjoy it nearly as much. All My Marbles in the Fight is a fic that it's set post-season. It was written post-season 1. It was the first Mel Prig fic. It was like one of the first fics for Kingdon I ever read. I love it so much. And it is just everyone betting on Mel's pregnancy. And it's hilarious and joyful and fucking funny. Like, it's incredible. It is, you've had a bad day and just want to read about a betting board. I couldn't recommend this fic more. They bet about how many apples Mel eats. That's her biggest pregnancy craving. They bet on the size. There's a lot of really hilarious jokes where they're like, none of us have a gambling problem. And it kind of switches POVs in a fun way. It's just purely delightful. It's incredible. That is like pure fluff. There's nothing sad in the background. And then for angst sleazeball Frank, who, if you read any Macaulaytwins and Mel Prig, you'll know about this, is Big Trouble by Macaulaytwins. This fic has a follow-up during like the Mel Prig summer / Kingdom microfics that I love. But this is Mel having the secret affair baby alone. And Frank going to see her and the baby looking just like him. And it's fucking awesome. There's a great line in it. It's like, Frank is such a dick. Mel is so sweet. There's like a really interesting power dynamic. Mel is so happy to be having a baby that looks just like Frank. She loves her Frank baby. It is darkly funny as you're reading it, and it is so fucked up, and I like cannot get enough of it. It's fucking amazing. If you are a real freak and a real Mel Prig freak, you will love this fic. This fic is for us. There's also a great line where Frank's like one of my favorite lines in it that I think about all the time, because Macaulaytwins is like such a talented writer and also so good at writing things that are very fucked up and yet very compelling. And Frank like thinking about OxyContin and then thinking about nothing else. I love this fic. Okay, that is my list. So this episode's a lot shorter than I intended it to be. But, you know, we're getting back in the saddle. I have some really wonderful guests coming up. I have 2 incredible pre-recorded episodes, one of which, both of which guests who I'm just obsessed with, one of whom has become a close friend of mine rather quickly. I think you guys are going to really enjoy them. I'm really excited to release them. Obviously, we're looking ahead to season 3. We have some great interviews coming out. I am just so excited to keep creating and keep talking to you guys as things progress. The Patreon has been pretty inactive due to, again, my injuries and grief and just my life kind of falling apart a little, but I'm getting back on my feet and it's going to be okay. And so I can't like in good conscience be like, go subscribe, but like there's a lot of like old bonus content on there and I am still making current bonus content. So feel free if you want to go check it out. There's a free trial. I also just launched merch via Redbubble. You can find more about that on the Kingdon Radio Hour blog. There's a post about it. It's just Redbubble / Kingdon Radio Hour. We have t-shirts and stickers and tote bags and all that fun stuff. We have I Want to Drink a Margarita with Abby Langdon stickers and a bumper sticker that says keep honking, I'm listening to my favorite niche fandom podcast, Kingdon Radio Hour, so that's a lot of fun. Yeah. I've been writing fic. And then completely buried the lead. It's currently August, and it's Angsty Kingdon August, which is an incredible event I'm running again with my 2 favorite writers, Purplebutterflyglasses and Alysonafterdark, and they are Allison and Paige really did most of the heavy lifting just because of all my health issues, but they have been so incredible, and the work that they are making and that everyone is making for it is incredible. I'm so proud of us and so passionate about this event, and I really hope that you guys all go check it out and create for it. We have prompts for Mel Misery Mondays and Frank Forlornness Fridays. So my Mel Misery Monday fic is again behind due to the pain, but I'm excited to finally have it out. The first week was my prompts, which was grief / addiction. So it's for all of you freaks who want to torture them and put them in the torment nexus, of which I am one of them. So yeah, and thank you so much for listening. Again, if you want to reach me and talk about this episode or want to yell at me because I didn't recommend your favorite fic, you can reach me on kingdonradiohour@tumblr.com, but a lot of you probably are going to reach me at TV Gremlin anyway. And yeah, I'll see you guys around. Thank you so much. Bye.